There we go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick. Welcome back to my shop. And we got the sawmill fired up today. We got a maple log in here. It's a big crotch log. It's only about 5 feet long, but we're gonna be maxing out the width of this thing. So as it stands, this crotch is about 36 inches wide. I'm actually gonna turn it up on its side, and we're gonna take a little bit off the top just to give us a nice straight edge that we can put up against the log stops on the bed of the mill. So haven't been putting any videos of me cutting actual wood out there besides shorts. It's all been kiln related over my other warehouse. So just thought I'd open this thing up and share it with you guys. It's gonna be kind of a short and sweet milling video today. Not gonna be a lot of fluff or anything in this. I wanna try to get things out there a little more often. Yeah, let's open this sucker up. I'm gonna show you this log and we'll get going on this thing. Okay, so this is the log we're gonna be cutting up today. This sucker's about 5.5 feet long, and at the widest, at the ends of this crotch is about 36 inches. So we actually need to trim a little bit of this down. So what I'm gonna do here is, since this is a pretty straight edge of the log, I'm gonna turn this whole crotch up on its side, up on the bed, which I'll show in a moment. And we're gonna take about, I don't know, 4 inches off of here, 5 inches, just off of this end. So this will have a straight edge here. That way we'll have a really straight reference edge to put along the log stops, or close to anyways. So I'm just gonna do a time lapse of me struggling getting this thing up, because these big crotch logs can be difficult to get on a manual mill. So here goes nothing. Okay, so I've fiddled around with it enough. I think this is gonna be the best kind of positioning I'm gonna be able to get it. So looks like the blade is gonna contact about there. And so I'm gonna be taking off this line right here. Let me just make sure this is all secure, and we're gonna clear my guides on this side here. Kind of swings out, curves a little bit, but I think we got enough room. So let me get this top trimmed off, and then we're gonna flip it on its side and start slabbing her. And this thing looks totally weird all the way up. I don't have it all the way up very often. So little shaky, but honestly, we just need to make that first cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my dust collector on, and we're gonna run this thing. Okay, I'm gonna start it right here. We're just gonna take this top edge off. Okay, so I think we've got it where it needs to be for now. Since it has these kind of lumpy burls here on this side of the crotch of the Y here, but not this side, I actually had to block it up a little bit. Any sort of cuts of 2x4, just, it's nice to, I have a little pile of just scraps for this very purpose. Because these like really weird shaped logs, you can't really put them on the bed. No matter how you manipulate them, they're gonna need supported in different areas just to keep them from wiggling while you cut. So yeah, just got a couple 2x4s here. It's rested against this stop. I've got this actually turned to where I need to go up a little higher with it. Basically, as it cuts and brings pressure, it's gonna wanna push the log this way. So you just wanna try to support it so it can't swing itself while you're cutting it. I've got this log clamp up, but I've actually decided that I'm gonna put this one up instead. It's not easy with one hand. So I'm gonna put this one up, that way this is pinning it between those two log stops I have up, and this guy, and just drop him down. There we go. Alrighty, so yeah, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get it. It's positioned to where it's gonna miss both my guides. And so let's see what we got here on the measurement after I made that cut. So after making that little topper cut here, it's gonna be about 28, flares out to about 29 with that lump of that burl right there. So I'm thinking the thickness here, we're gonna get 5 or 6 slabs. I'm gonna cut them to 2.5 or 2 3/8 thick is kind of where I'm gonna, 2.5 on my scale, minus roughly 1/8 for the kerf of the blade. We'll put these at 2 3/8 inch thick. Yeah, so let's do it. Let's start slabbing this thing. Okay. I'm actually gonna drop it a little bit lower here and try that for our first cut. So why don't we start there? Basically, this first cut is important just so you have a nice solid base that the whole stack of slabs is going to stack on. If you don't have a flat parallel surface, you're going to get a bunch of bowing slabs that are all going to reference off of one crooked end. So we took that top surface off, but I actually want this flat surface to extend all the way to the end here. So I'm gonna lower it down. You know, there's some waste with this, but I would rather waste an outermost slab than try to get an extra slab and then they all dry crooked because they're not supported on one end of the first slab, if that makes any sense. Go a little bit lower. We're gonna take, okay, so we're gonna take an 8/4 slab off the top here. It's not gonna be waste. It just won't be stacked with these. I'll probably, honestly, some of these little, you know, flitches or outer cuts of the slabs, I will lean them up against the wall and they'll stay mostly flat. And you know, down the road, you process them, you make some legs, you make some drawer faces out of them. That's kind of what I've been doing with that stuff. You know what? I want to go a little bit lower. I need to go about another 1.5 inches or so. I want this totally flat so that this end is supporting the rest of it. Okay, so we got this top slab taken off the top here, so we have a flat reference surface. So when we store these, this has enough support here on the end so that everything can lay flat on this slab and upward, since this will be the first one that will be stacked on the final pallet. So yeah, we're gonna take 2.5 inches off of this here and slab our way down this log. Okay, so I'm adjusting my scale so that I know that every time I drop it down, I can keep it at a consistent thickness. So I just kind of go to the nearest inch. And then I drop it down 2.5, and that will give me a 2 3/8 inch thick slab. 1, 2.5. All right, take a look, make sure we're not going to hit log clamps or anything. We're good. A lot of tension in this thing. So this is kind of like the center slab here. This thing probably as it dries is going to fall apart on us, but we'll try to trap as much of this stuff in this next slab as we can. And you know, if this is something that needs to be kind of cut apart later on, and you can use different parts of this as different componentry for furniture, that's pretty much where you could utilize this stuff. Or you could stabilize all this with epoxy. Let's drop her down and probably take one more, maybe 2 more cuts off of it before I need to flip it over. It's pretty heavy and it's not wanting to move it all on its own, so I'm gonna try running it, and if it gets kind of shaky on us, I will flip it over. Okay, so let's drop it down 2.5 again. So what are we at? We're at 19, we're at 20.5. So we need to drop down our half. 21. 22. Alrighty. Start this all up. There's nothing. Yeah, that's all shake right there. This thinner slab's probably not going to be too good for anything, but we'll stack it all together and hope for the best. All right, this is pretty much the widest part of this log here. So we're just inside of our guides. Alrighty. Take this guy off and take a look. Okay, so this is the slab we just took off the top. Let's do a little water pop here before we lose our daylight. Wow. Look at that. We got double crotch action here. Got a little bit from this burl on the outside edge, that branch that was heading out that way, and then these 2 big ones coming together, and this big guy that runs almost the whole length of this slab, more than half the length. Okay, so this guy's looking pretty nice. We'll get some water on him in a minute, but when I took the slab off, I moved this a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over here. Okay, Okay, this is the part that can really be a pain in the ass because I need to turn this log 180 degrees. And luckily, I can maneuver this on my own, but you know, this is one thing you need to consider if you're gonna wanna mill your own wood, is not everyone can move this on their own. And it's a little dangerous. I mean, if I had some equipment that could move this, it might be different, but we don't have that, so we're making it work here. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can get away without spinning at 180. Oh yeah, plenty of room. Plenty of room. I'm gonna slide it down a little bit. Watch your fingers. It's a weird log, not the best log. It's beautiful wood, so you know we're gonna have to be kind of selective with what we use it for, unless we just fill everything with epoxy. But yeah, still nice looking stuff. So let's get the rest of it open here. These are one of these logs that's like, there's not really like a perfect way to do it. So you got to just try to make your best judgment on what you can use and what you can yield from it. So let me drop this log stop down. And then I'm just going to take it down 2.5 inches and let her rip. 1, 2. So that'll leave both slabs roughly 2 3/8. So actually when we stack and sticker this thing, this slab on the top will be what you'll see from the top, and nothing will be stacked on top of that. So I'll show you guys the stacked pallet when I'm done here. Okay. That'll do it. Ooh, that last slab is nice. It's probably the best one. Okay, we're gonna do the old spray down. I don't have my hose because my neighbor ran over my spray nozzle. So, and we already did these. So let's check these out. Not too shabby. This one wider branch here on this side has a big crack going down the whole length of it. So that's not ideal, but still beautiful stuff. Yeah, look at all this, get this bird's eye going on in here. Look at this. That bug hole is burping. Interesting. Nice spalt action going on here. Lots of pinks, reds, oranges of different tones. Kind of peachy looking. Interesting stuff. Kind of punky up here. They're beautiful. They're not the best maple logs I've ever cut. These big wide crotches are kind of difficult to gauge where you need to cut. You know, it's not really a perfect answer. It's not like you can yield a bunch of really high grade lumber from this stuff. This is all common rustic grade type material. But, you know, if you were selective after these are dried, you know, you could cut components out of this stuff. You know, I always tell people there's like, I could take one log or one slab here and make like 100 different things out of it. So, you know, it's part of the fun of it is finding what you want to make and be creative with the wood orientation. And yeah, having big slabs like this gives you a lot of freedom to kind of choose and kind of dissect what you need. You know, a couple slabs you can actually pick apart and make some really nice stuff out of. So yeah, beautiful stuff, pretty high character. This big feather here is just epic. Alrighty, so we're gonna get these stacked and stickered. Looks like these 5 are gonna make it onto the pile. This guy, I'm probably just gonna lean up against the wall on kind of these top cut random slabs that I have. And you'd actually be surprised, like something shorter like this, just leaned up against the wall, especially this maple, it dries, it does not move a whole lot. You know, it'll stay pretty flat leaning up against the wall here. You know, if I were to stack this on the bottom of these, this lack of support from this end will compromise the drying of the tops of all these. So I'm not going to stack him with the rest of them. There we go. Still getting the hang of these pallet jacks. Keep things all nice and even. Trying to keep my rows tidy if I can. And there she is. And that's where she'll sit and dry for 8-9 months before it's ready for the kiln. Let's get cleaned up and get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I know it wasn't the cleanest, nicest log we've ever seen, but you know, I wanted to get something out there. It's been a minute since I've posted a full form milling video. So it was kind of nice to stray away from the kiln series that I'm doing. If you guys haven't seen, I'm building a dehumidification kiln over my other warehouse. And I've got a little mini series that I'm doing on it. So I'll put the link to those videos in the description. But yeah, other than that, machine ran great. The slabs look beautiful aside from some of the pithy shake areas that are going on that are a little bit sketchy. But overall, we're going to dry them. We're going to see what they look like. You know, worst case scenario, if some of those slabs bust up, we could dissect them into componentry for furniture and use them strategically in builds over time. So if you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, throw them in the comments section. And thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Have a good night, guys.